Welcome back to another episode of Murder, Mysteries, and More. My name's Kaylee.
My name is Desi.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell next to the subscribe button to turn on post notifications.
Before we get into this case, we always encourage those who have useful information to any unsolved case, please report it to your local police and sheriff department. Viewer discretion advised. This video will contain some very graphic details. If you cannot handle this or you're under the age of 18, please click off now.
As a child, I absolutely adored animals, and like many others, would go to circuses, zoos, and even went to SeaWorld once. At SeaWorld specifically, you would see dolphins happily waving their fins and splashing around. But the Shamu Orca show was the main event. These beautiful creatures look so happy, but I am here to tell you that is not the case. Many of these animals are trapped inside small tanks and are mentally unstable.
Oh, it's me, literally. Orca facts. Some really cool orca facts are that orcas are actually not whales and are the biggest members of the dolphin family. They are apex predators and were given the name killer whales from sailors who would observe them preying off larger whales. Male orcas are approximately 33 feet long and 22,000 pounds. Orcas' diet consists of seals and sea lions, dolphins and porpoises, sharks and rays, large whales, cephalopods, octopods, and squids, and more. Just like dolphins, orcas use echolocation to communicate within their pods.
The start of orca capturing. In 1965, a fisherman accidentally caught an orca named Namu in British Columbia. They knew that they could profit off the poor orca, so they called up Ted Griffin. Griffin owned Seattle Marine Aquarium. He bought Namu for $8,000. Unfortunately, 1 year later, the orca died due to a bacterial infection. Griffin launched a new whale catching program called Namu Incorporated. SeaWorld was its top buyer. In 1970s, orca capture was not regulated, and men would take calves by boats, planes, and even use explosives, which is horrible.
What is wrong with these fucking people? Are you stupid?
Everything.
Jesus. Yeah. 4 baby orcas got stuck in a fishing net. Activists tried to free them, but sadly the babies drowned. Griffin tried to hide their bodies by sinking them. However, he got caught like the stupid ass bitch he is. The public was furious, and the state of Washington set up a permit process to try to regulate orca capture. In 1972, the Marine Mammal Protection Act was enacted, but there was a loophole, of course, like always. Due to economic hardship, SeaWorld could continue capturing baby orcas.
And that's absolutely messed up that just because of that they were able to keep capturing these babies.
Yeah.
And mind you, it was very expensive to even take care of orcas.
Which is wild. Why would you want to start that process anyways?
Right. In 1972, Griffin left, but Goldsberry took over the program. Between 1973 to 1975, no orcas would be captured. In 1976, former Washington Secretary State Ralph Monroe and his wife witnessed Goldsberry using sail bombs and a speedboat to take away baby orcas from their mama. Obviously, they were absolutely horrified after listening to the horrific screams of baby orcas. Like, could you imagine witnessing that?
Bruh.
I'd be so furious. I would be going after
I'd be
that.
mad.
Yeah.
Be mad as hell. Monroe reached out to Governor Evans, and Evans filed a restraining order on SeaWorld prohibiting them from moving orcas. SeaWorld was banned, and of course, SeaWorld did not give up so easily. They tried Alaska, but they were unwelcomed. They moved on to Iceland, where they captured Tilikum, blackfish, and Keiko, free willy. 200 captured orcas later, SeaWorld is finally done capturing orcas, but they shouldn't have started in the first place.
In the wild, orcas' dorsal fins stick straight up, and if they have fallen, it's due to psychological or emotional stress. In captivity, orcas, about like 99% of the time, their dorsal fins collapse. Orca pods can swim up to 99 miles in a day, but in captivity, they're lucky if they even get to swim 1 mile. Orcas in the wild can live up to 80 years, although most live anywhere between 30 to 50 years. In captivity, orca lifespans are shortened to 10 to 45 years, and some even die from being caught. And with that being
Yeah.
said, you think if their lifespan is shortened like that, then why are we even keeping them? Like, it makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Nah, they just needed to be left alone, period, to begin with. But they're dumb. SeaWorld's first performing orca in 1965, Shamu was captured after a fisherman harpooned and killed her mother. She was sold to SeaWorld in San Diego. Shamu was kept in a small tank, and trainers deprived her of food. In the 1960s, Shamu was the icon of SeaWorld, but this changed after an incident in 1971. Annette Ikes, a SeaWorld employee, was instructed to ride on Shamu's back with just a bathing suit on. Mind you, Shamu was only used to male trainers wearing wetsuits. On top of that, Annette was not an orca trainer.
So, why would she be there in the first place?
Yeah, really, why?
Annette was riding on Shamu's back when she slipped and the orca grabbed a hold of her leg. Shamu refused to let go. Immediately, staff and security ran to the pool to assist Annette. To break Annette free, a trainer had to use a pole to pry Shamu's jaws open. Annette's injuries were extensive and required over 200 stitches. A month after the incident, SeaWorld brought her back again to take photos with Shamu and claimed that they made up.
What? That's
Yeah.
wild.
Meanwhile, like with Haramba, the gorilla that killed the little boy, I mean, that was tragic, but he's a wild animal too. They put him down.
Yeah. No, not cool. Shamu would retire, and only a few months later, Shamu died at the age of 9. The cause of death was ruled as blood poisoning and a uterine infection. Annette sued SeaWorld and received $75,000. SeaWorld appealed and claimed that they were not responsible for the incident because she wasn't an orca trainer. SeaWorld is the one who asked her to ride Shamu in the first place, though. The judge had agreed with SeaWorld, and Annette had to give the money back. That's fucked.
That is so fucked. And I imagine the medical bills from this were very expensive, and I imagine she was out of work for weeks.
Probably. I mean, yeah. After that, it would be.
Now on to Tilikum's story. In 1983, Tilikum was captured off the ocean waters of Iceland along with 2 other orcas. He was only 2 years old when he was captured. He was shipped to an Iceland zoo. 1 year later, he was moved again to Sealand of the Pacific. Sealand is a park in British Columbia. He was kept in a 20-foot pen that was only 30 feet deep. Wild orcas can dive up to 500 feet. This pen clearly was not big enough. At night, they would also completely shut off the lights on the orcas, so it's pretty much equivalent to putting a person in solitary confinement.
Bro, them poor orcas. What if they're afraid of the dark?
Yeah.
They just shut the lights out on them. How you
It's
gonna
horrible.
do that?
And like that size of a pen is not big enough. We have like one of the world's biggest swimming pools is 175 feet deep, but we're only going to give them 30 feet.
At Sealand, they brought another orca to help with Tilikum's training. If Tilikum wouldn't perform his tricks, they would starve both the orcas. When this happened, the other orca became furious and lashed out on Tilikum by scraping his teeth on his skin. The 2 female orcas Tilikum stayed with rejected him and would lash out on him. He had no safe escape route.
So if he was in the wild, he would be able to get himself free.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an issue.
There are no records of wild orcas killing humans in the wild. Kelty Byrne, a marine biology student, worked as a part-time trainer at Sealand. In 1991, a crowd gathered around to watch one of Sealand's famous orca shows featuring Tilikum, Ada, and Nuka. Towards the end of the show, Kelty slipped into the pool. Tilikum grabbed a hold of her rubber boot. She was pulled underwater, and the two female orcas circled around Kelty. Unfortunately, there wasn't much they could do, and poor Kelty drowned to death. After the horrific incident, Sealand decided it would be best to shut their doors and sold off the remaining orcas to SeaWorld.
Damn.
Like, obviously, it's not a good idea.
Obviously not, but they still did it anyways. 8 years later, Tilikum was involved in yet another incident. At 7:25 a.m. on July 6, 1999, a SeaWorld employee discovered a lifeless body on Tilikum's back. The body was identified as Daniel Dukes. Dukes bought a ticket the day before and somehow stayed at the park overnight undetected. Dukes was only wearing underwear, and it is not clear whether he was dragged into the pool or if he jumped in. That's suspicious.
It was clear in his autopsy that Tilikum did thrash his body around, causing multiple bruises and lacerations. He eventually died from hypothermia and drowning. It is plausible, due to Tilikum's history, that he probably prevented Duke from any attempts to get out of the pool. What's really disturbing is that the orca played with his dead body and bit off his genitals. Employees had a very difficult time retrieving the body. The orca was possessive of the body.
Bro, they were probably hungry. They probably thought he was food. This is what happens when you don't feed animals.
And this is what happens when you keep them in solitary confinement. They're gonna snap one day.
Yeah, you stupid ass ugly noodle head bitches. SeaWorld focused the story around Duke's homelessness and convictions and put that as to blame as to why Tilikum attacked. They made no mention of the orca's past violent tendencies or even the fact that Tilikum is a wild animal. His autopsy also shows no results of Dukes being on drugs at the time. SeaWorld claims they have zero footage of the night of Duke's death, which is bullshit because I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do. They probably just deleted it.
Yep. Sus.
Tilikum's last attack. Don Brancho was a senior trainer at Orlando, Florida. Dawn was a strong swimmer, had excellent health, and as a child, Dawn dreamed of working at SeaWorld. She was living her dream, and several employees respected her. February 24, 2010, Dawn was scheduled to do a dine-in Shamu show with Tilikum. These pools were located outside of the cafe. The show went on smoothly. Everyone headed out. 1:30 p.m., Dawn directed Tilikum to swim to the edge of the pool. Next to the pool is alleged that Dawn could lay next to Tilikum in a couple inches of water to have their bonding time. Ooh. I just find that weird how they would just like put their faces right next to their face. They're wild animals. Like, would you put your face next to a great white shark? Probably not.
Probably not. Unless you're stupid. A while later, an employee cued at Dawn that they were ready for Tilikum to dive to do a photo op in a viewing area below. Dawn was about to cue Tilikum when he grabbed her ponytail. She attempted to pull her hair out of Tilikum's mouth, but instead he pulled her into the water. The staff sounded the alarm and called for a water rescue. An anonymous person at the park called 911. Staff slapped the water as a sign for the orca to release her, but Tilikum did not respond to the command.
Guests stood in horror at the glass while this was happening. Dawn was free at one point and attempted to swim away. However, the orca slammed into her body, grabbed her arm, and drug her back underwater. Staff attempted to use a net to separate Tilikum from Dawn, but it was not working. Dawn eventually died. Finally, the staff got Tilikum on a lift and serviced him. Tilikum was still holding onto her lifeless body. Tilikum scalped her, bit her multiple times, and even tore her entire arm off. Her cause of death was ruled as drowning, blunt force trauma to her head and neck.
And once again, here we fucking go with SeaWorld, blaming the victim when this poor innocent woman was just a fucking employee. Like, could learn how to fucking not... Come on, dude. He's a wild animal. You're not supposed to take him into the wild for this reason. Like... Come on, dude. But, of course, SeaWorld once again blamed the victim. They claimed it could have been prevented if she didn't wear a long ponytail. It would have happened regardless. To be fair, many other trainers wore ponytails, and once again, Tilikum is a wild animal. Tilikum would continue to be forced to perform, but after Don's death, trainers were banned from getting in the water with orcas. In 2017, Tilikum died due to a bacterial infection. January 19th, 2013, Blackfish, a movie about Tilikum's story, was released. SeaWorld would face a lot of scrutiny.
Now on to Reddit comments. So the first one is about the movie, and this one's written by Lorem the Destroyer. Blackfish, How Captive Killer Whale Documentary Ended SeaWorld's Orca Breeding Program. And then bottled_star says, I would like to jack this post to highlight lowlight the Miami Sea Aquarium. They have the smallest orca tank in the world, and she looks so freaking sad. They said that she was also the oldest orca in captivity, and it's really depressing to see her there. They have signs all over saying posting a video to the internet is against policy because they know they would get shut down. I wish one of these movies would be made for it so it could get shut down. Which, they're talking about Lolita, and she actually died not too long ago.
Which is sad.
Yeah, she was confined to a really small space.
Yeah, which is crazy. Why would you do that?
Yeah, SeaWorld's fucked up, and there are many other places too, other zoos, other aquariums that have fucked up with these orcas.
Yeah, really though. Deepash responded to that comment and said, this reminds me of the Buenos Aires Zoo. They had this lone elephant in a tiny space. It just looked incredibly sad and lonely. Thankfully, it's now closed and been turned into a park. As it should have been.
Yes, that's how it should have been.
Yeah.
I love this name, the Twittering Machine.
Oh.
The guy talks about hearing the noises the rest of Tilikum's pod made when he was taken away from them and sent to the boathouse is still one of the most haunted people I've ever seen in any documentary. I definitely could see how that would be just terrifying.
Yeah.
It's also very terrifying for the orca and their family.
Yeah, Necro CVLT responded to that and said, here is the scene for anyone interested. The gentleman being interviewed is a hardened fisherman and war veteran and claims kidnapping the 2-year-old orca from its pod in the wild is the worst thing he's ever done. Yeah, it's pretty bad if somebody has to
if
say
you
that.
asked your mom if somebody took you away from her, she'd probably be bad.
Yeah, same person responded a little later and said, yes, capturing marine mammals is no joke. He describes how 3 orcas were entangled in the net they cast and drowned. He was then directed by management to cut open the whales, fill their bellies with rocks, and ensure they sunk to the seafloor. At the time, he believed to merely be an effort to minimize bad PR, but later I learned the whole operation was in fact illegal. SeaWorld was called out by name in 1976 legislation to seize orca capturing options in the state of Washington, and then they immediately picked up continued operations in Iceland. Why do loopholes exist? Why?
They're so stupid.
Yeah, this just needs to be banned worldwide. Like, we're not doing this no more. Don't stop taking animals out of the wild for people's enjoyments. It's not fun anymore.
It is not.
Like, we should cancel everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
let's just cancel them all. Yeah, and the thing too is like if you're really for animals, you should be supporting, sanctuaries. The thing with sanctuaries is a lot of times they are actually doing, one, it has way more space than a sanctuary, and they're actually really rehabilitating the animals, and for some animals that are about to go extinct, they're able to help produce a population in the most humane, ethical way, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, I know in North Carolina, there's, a wolf sanctuary. Yeah, they're awesome. And then, also, I know the aquarium by where I live, they actually take baby sea turtles that need extra help, and they'll keep them until they're about a year old, and after hurricane season they'll release them back. That should be the end goal, to get them back into the wild.
Yeah, and they're in like a decent sized tank too, so they have
Yeah.
plenty of room to swim as well.
And all these
Just
orcas, they were like at really good health anyways when
yeah.
they were captured. I totally understand where people are like, oh, what about like if it's injured or something? But these orcas, like, they were healthy, they were separated from their parents, they were put in extremely small tanks and forced to perform.
Yeah, which is sad. Sad
Yeah.
as hell. Depression. Araris when I was working with SeaWorld on a few projects when Blackfish came out, it completely devastated their business plans.
I bet.
Yeah. I would here's the double edged sword to that. I did sea lion rescue and rehab with them for a few years. Obviously fantastic attention was brought to an issue and forced their hand to change a lot of how they operate. I totally agree with that movement and change. But on the other side, they're one of the most funded and proactive weapons against marine life degradation.
Yeah.
Wrong.
They're also like, they're for profit too.
Yeah. But still, they don't need to exist no more.
No. And then the next one, I love this person's name. The next post is Scooby underscore doobie underscore dope.
Oh, yeah.
The captive orca Tilikum looking at its trainer. There have been 4 human deaths caused by orcas as of 2019, and Tilikum was responsible for 3 of them.
He a big boy.
And then Cyan Heck says natural apex predator assessing its captors, captive intelligent creature taking stock of which other predator to eliminate from the narrow pond.
Right? He's like, which one's my snack? Which one's my dinner?
Right.
Oh my god, this comment said it's from Mr. Conductor's ashes. To be fair, one of the people he killed tried to fuck him. What?
So, I mean, he had
yeah.
was in just underwear, so we don't know, and we don't have the footage. So, he could have. We don't really know the whole story of Daniel Dukes because they wiped away the footage. But yeah,
Bro, the comments get worse that responded to that though. Like,
oh
look at it. It
boy,
says, dicks out for Tilikum till I come.
wow, what the fuck?
Stop!
Somebody said Xeno text said Free Willy.
I get it, Free Willy. Oh no. It's fucked. Hold on. Could at least wait till they come.
Oh my
Stop. Whale prison ain't no joke. Jesus.
Carmen Valoon says they used his sperm in fathering the other captive whales. They had to have him ejaculate to get the sperm. How long do you jerk off a whale till it comes?
Bro, just imagine your job is jerking off a whale. That's
oh
gross.
My gosh. It's gross. And it's also like it is really messed up too.
It's messed up. Bro.
He did have a lot of he did have a lot of kids.
Well, yeah, they made them reproduce. Not naturally, but still. That's so gross.
Cinder 1X says, do orcas eat penguins? Because those trainers look like penguins. If I was an orca and I ate penguins, my trainers wear suits that make them look like penguins. I might have given my trainer a taste. I mean, it's true, like, orcas, they eat all sorts of stuff. And, I mean, they were wearing, like, black and white wetsuits, so.
If I'm not dead, I'm suing. 2 not really fun facts related to this. Number 1, those 4 human deaths have only been caused by captive orcas. In the wild, orcas have never killed humans and are usually chill around us. Number 2, you see how his dorsal fin is flopped over? Yeah, that doesn't happen in the wild. Never does. When the trainers first started working with orca, they were told it's a natural thing that happens with age. Orca fins naturally stay pointy until death. That floppy fin is a sign of a very sad and very unhealthy orca who wants to go home.
You could tell he was definitely a sad boy.
Yeah, he was. So
He
sad.
just wanted to be free.
He just wanted to be out there looking for a woman, fucking around. They took that away from him. Shame on you, bro. He was gonna be in his hoe era. They ruined it.
Right.
They who mustn't be named. It's almost as if we shouldn't keep wild, non-domesticated animals captive. Hmm.
Yeah.
Never would have thought of that.
Okay, and then for the. You ready for the next Reddit post?
Yes.
For the last Reddit post, I'll definitely post this picture. But it's by Deleted, and they have a picture of a wild orca's teeth versus a captive orca who's been chewing on of its pool due to stress. And you can see with the wild orca, the teeth are nice and sharp, they look clean, and then with the captive orca, you can see like the teeth are like dull and like the gums are like bleeding. It just looks painful.
Yeah, it looks awful. His teeth have been basically filed down.
Yeah.
Depressing. That's not cool. People in the 60s. Take a look at that giant mammal shark ripping seals apart. It sure deserves the name killer whale. Actually, we just discovered they're super smart and chill with people. They're just giant dolphins. Great. Let's turn them into circus animals. Damn.
Yeah, don't get me started with circuses.
Oh my god, I hate circuses. Please don't ever take
Same.
me to one.
Now the happiest place I've ever seen like any wild animal was actually in the wild when I was jet skiing with Presley, my husband, and we turned off our jet skis so they wouldn't like hurt the dolphins, and there was like a couple dolphins around us, like wild dolphins, and it was so cute. And they looked happy because they were in the ocean.
This person deleted said really shouldn't be in captivity, especially since these places refuse to give them the space and enrichment. And then this person, Playful Motor 4262, says most dog owners, I don't know where it went to dogs. Most dog owners are abusive without even realizing it. From morbid obesity to ingrown nails to dogs that spend 90% of their life laying on a rug and being told to stop barking because they're bored out of their mind.
Yeah, I
Damn.
mean it is natural for dogs to bark, and like
They do be
even like
barking.
when you have pets like dogs and cats, like they are animals too, and
Yep.
people get mad at them when their animals like
Play or bark.
yeah, when they like bark and stuff, and it's like that's just their natural instinct.
They gotta use their voices somehow.
And what's sad too is in these pools, like there's literally nothing. There's no plants in the pools. It's just like chlorine water. There's no like hoops or really anything. The only enrichment they really get is like the performing and the shows. But if they don't perform it in the way that us humans want them to, then they get deprived of food. At least try to make their habitat look somewhat natural. But no, SeaWorld's just like, here's a blank concrete pool with chlorine water.
Yep.
They
That's
don't
how
even
you
have
get me.
they don't even have pool noodles.
They don't even have friends.
Yeah.
They're all just trying to pit against
Yeah.
each other.
They're social creatures, and some of the orcas are put by themselves. Like, what the heck? We know we don't put dolphins by themselves, so why are you
Nope.
putting orcas by themselves?
Bro, they treat dolphins better than killer whales. That's kind of sad.
Right.
Depressing. This person, Jono J97, makes me wonder how much my environment has to do with me grinding my teeth. That's factual, though.
Yeah, that is.
Like, environment makes a big difference on your stress levels and your responses to stress, which can involve grinding teeth.
Oppo Pop Possum says, fuck all
What?
animal abusers. Yep.
Indeed, fuck them. But don't fuck them. Say fuck you to them. How about that? Everyone keeps saying shut down SeaWorld. Well, we've all been saying that for a long time, but
And
they won't
what's
do it.
crazy too is like SeaWorld is worth billions of dollars still.
I know. I'm surprised, but people just keep
Yeah, they keep
fueling it. Yeah, they keep fueling their fire, which is sad. Like, do your research. Please don't go to these places. They don't deserve funding. They
No.
deserve to be shut down, like the trash that they are.
Yeah, they are trash.
They're more than trash. They are the epitome of fucking dumpsters and dumpster fires.
For
They
real.
should be dumpster, yeah. They're the fucking
Dumpster fire
epitome.
trash.
They're the fucking epitome of trash in the ocean.
Yep.
Like, bro.
They're the plastic bottles in the ocean.
They're the plastic things that get stuck on turtles' necks.
Yep.
They're them.
They need to be hit by a bunch of pool noodles at once.
They need to jump out in traffic or find a good tree to ram into. Do a 360 no scope flip out the car. Yeah, ripping baby orcas from their mothers and shoving them into tiny tanks is so wrong. Depriving them of food if they don't perform tricks and riding them like bulls is a disgrace. Orcas are beautiful, majestical creatures of the ocean. They belong here and should be left alone. Tilikum serves as a reminder that wild animals are still wild no matter how hard you try to break them. Thank you for listening, and remember to always keep your eyes open because all the orcas should be free and wild animals should be left the fuck alone.